the question of natural suffering is a much harder question to answer than the question of moral evil. Moral evil is done by human beings, and therefore can be attributed to free choice, to free will. Now, natural suffering is somewhat different. We're talking here about hurricanes, forest fires, avalanches, tsunamis, earthquakes. Insurance companies sometimes call these things acts of God, which means human beings didn't do them, so kind of God must have. And of course, those can't be blamed on free will. Human beings don't have anything to do with them, and therefore the question is, why does God allow them? So I think if we look at the specific example of earthquakes, we can begin to get an answer to this question. Why do we have earthquakes? Now, a couple of hundred years ago, when there was a massive earthquake in Lisbon, the philosopher Voltaire wrote a poem in which he basically said, God, surely you could have done better. Your architecture seems very defective. Couldn't you have made a world without earthquakes? Now, remarkably, 200 years later, now, we can offer an answer to that question, and it's a scientific answer. We don't have to just philosophically sit around and try to answer these questions. Modern geology, modern meteorology, modern physics and astronomy have a lot to say about why our world is structured in the way it is, why our universe is the way it is, and why our planet, Earth, is the way it is. So the reason we have earthquakes, we now know, and this fact has only been known for about 7 decades, is because under the Earth are giant plates. And you also have these plates under the ocean floor. This is plate tectonics, giant plates that move. And it turns out that Earth is the only planet that is known to have plate tectonics. No other planet, no other star has this. Earth is also the only planet that has life, and specifically human life. And it turns out that these two facts are not unrelated. They're connected. Plate tectonics is indispensable for life, particularly for human life, for land-based and complex life. Why? Well, plate tectonics does a whole bunch of things, but one of the things it does is it separates the land from the water. We happen to live on a planet that's two-thirds water, and if there was nothing separating the land from the water, our planet would be covered, submerged in water to a depth of about 400 feet. So obviously, fish could survive, Rob, in this kind of an environment, but not you or me. Land-based creatures require land. So plate tectonics contributes to biodiversity on the planet. It helps to regulate the temperature on the planet, acting as a kind of planetary thermostat. It protects the Earth's magnetic field from lethal radiation from the outside. Bottom line, no plate tectonics, no creatures like us. And so once again, to me, you can sit around, you can bemoan an earthquake, and we're always going to do that. But if we understand that the same laws that produce earthquakes are necessary to have Homo sapiens, which is to say creatures like us, then I think we get a different perspective on things. It's kind of like saying, I don't like the fact that the sun can give me cancer if I stay too long outside, but I also recognize that without the sun and the warmth of the sun, you couldn't have life. Or like saying, I don't like the fact that you have forest fires that can burn down a village, but on the other hand, I recognize that without fire, we really couldn't have human civilization. On balance, those things are very good for life, even though they might contribute to suffering.